And I guess Chad, I guess you are.
All
Oh,
right, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I will call to order the February 5th, 2025 meeting of the Solid Waste Advisory. What? Oh, I'm so sorry. Why did I say February 5th? I apologize. The March 6th, 2025 meeting of the Solid Waste Advisory Committee. And I will start with a roll call and determination of the quorum.
All right. Chad Sutter,
Here.
Emily Klaus. I see her online. Nicholas Dunning.
oh, she responded here, but via the, okay.
Thank you. Nicholas Dunning.
What
Joan-
over to our neck of the woods?
You. Joan Kathy. Trevor Palmer. Elaine Clam.
Here.
You. Lisa Harrison. She's there.
Here.
Greg. Yeah. Greg Schoenbachler. Aaron Robertson.
Hello.
Morning. Christina Kohlberg. Yeah, she's on there.
Yep.
And then those in the vacant spots would be David Nightingale, Jane Appling, Bob Eall, Kelly Green, and or Gary Franks. So those are still vacant, but I do see a few of them online.
Yeah, if I may, just to speak to that, is that is correct. We have four individuals here that will be either appointed or reappointed by the Board of County Commissioners on hopefully this March 18th. It's on their agenda. So they're currently not seated as for today as members, but they will be for the next meeting. So that includes our chair. As she mentioned, our chair, David Nightingale, business interest, Jane Appling for the District 5 resident, Bobby Eall for Port of Olympia, and Kelly Green for the City of Olympia. Oh, and I see Joan Kathy has arrived as well, so we can add her to that.
Okay, so after roll call, we've determined we do have a quorum to be able to conduct official business of the SWAC. We'll go ahead and move on to, do you want to do introductions of guests first, or?
Certainly, I'll go ahead and do that. So we have from Public Works, I have a fair number here. First off, we have Laura Glover sitting right there, leading. I understand Amanda Romero is also in your room. There we go. Rob Pudner, I believe, is there as well. And Maggie Brown, is she in the room as well?
Maggie is sick today.
Oh, she is sick today. Oh, okay. Tony Basinger is online, also for Public Works.
Hi.
I'm looking down the list here. If I miss anybody from Public Works, I think. Oh, Marinka Major. And again, then we have from Public Health and Social Services. I see, let's see, where do we go? Jennifer Johnson.
Morning.
Going down, Jessica Goulet.
Hi.
Kylie Graber.
Good morning.
And Kimberly Graham.
Good morning.
And did I miss any PHSS individuals?
Matt Samuelson just walked in from Public Works.
Oh, okay. So, all right, just add. Okay, let's see. We have Corey Carlton from the extension and our master recycler composting
Good morning.
lead. Also be presenting today. And then as far as other guests, non-county employees, let's see. We have
Jeff.
Franks.
Jeff.
Yes.
Real quick, Jeff, Jenny Post, our program assistant, is also here.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you.
Good morning.
We have Gary Franks from City of Olympia.
Yeah,
And
I think Jeff, just one thing. Yeah, so Kelly Green, once she's appointed, she will be attending every meeting moving forward. So meeting next month she'll be at. So in her absence, I'm representing the city of Olympia today. But it doesn't look like there's any action on the agenda to take.
yeah, and I'll talk about, there will be no action for any action items today, but
Okay.
Thank you, Gary. Let's see, Ron Jones, also from the city of Olympia,
Thank you, Jeff.
and because this list keeps bouncing around. Did I miss anybody? Okay, very good, thank you.
All right, so with that, so we don't need to approve the minutes then? Those were already approved at the last meeting, Jeff?
Actually, we will, because it was the meeting, the minutes from February, we have not approved those yet, so we need to approve the agenda for today, and then
I just said no actionable items, so do you want to postpone those
oh,
then?
we can, we have a quorum, so.
Okay, yeah, no, you just said that there wouldn't be
Oh,
any
I meant in the agenda items,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm sorry, I meant if I've created any confusion.
No, you're good. I just want to make sure we're not gonna postpone it to the next meeting then, or to where everybody has an opportunity to weigh in on the meeting, on the minutes? Or do you wanna just have them approved with the quorum that we have?
Since we have a quorum, yeah, we're never gonna have, I mean, we're rarely ever gonna have everybody here, so.
So with that, I guess, can I get a motion from the floor to approve the meeting minutes from February 4th, 2025?
I so move.
And do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. With that, I approve the minutes for February 4th, 2020.
Actually, we have to
February
take a vote first.
5th. Oh, all those in favor? Sorry, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it, and so we approve the February 5th, 2025 minutes.
And we'll need to approve the agenda for today as well.
And then I would also like to approve the agenda that we have on, have scheduled for today as well. Can I get a motion for that?
I so move. Second.
Second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And the ayes have it, so we approve that agenda. Public comments. Do we have anybody from the public that has anything for the good of the order? No. With seeing nothing, I guess we'll move on to our sixth item, which is old business. Jeff, do you have any updates or anything from old that you'd like to bring to the quorum?
Not in this particular area. I'll have something to add at the very end, but nothing for this particular agenda item.
Okay, great. I'll go ahead and move on to our new business, item 7, Thurston County Solid Waste Rate Study Update.
And that comes to me. So as you recall, actually, just a quick thing before I jump into that, I did notice that Nicholas Dunning did log in, so we do have another member here. Just wanted to point that out. So it made the minutes. Okay. So yeah, so rate study update. We got, last month we had the presentation. HDR made a presentation about the rate study and the proposed changes in our solid waste rates. Originally, we had intended to have this be the kind of the follow-up with maybe potential for some action today. However, given that we have 4 members here that were not able to be seated before this meeting, so we're down to only 9 members, we decided to hold off that action until the April meeting, when these other 4 members can be there, so we can have make sure that our committee is more complete and so that way those jurisdictions as well have the ability to give us input. Port of Olympia, City of Olympia, and our business interest as well as our new resident members. So today, I guess if anybody has any questions or comments that they would like to chip in today, but it's just want to be aware that we will be putting this up on the April agenda as an action item as far as any, as far as whether the committee is interested in making a recommendation and a motion to forward this to the Board of County Commissioners at a later date for potential approval. So with that, again, we've had a month to kind of look it over, hopefully, and think about it. And just wanted to see if anybody had any other questions or comments at this point in time, just knowing that we will bring this back again next month. So with that, I'll open it up to anybody. Boy, you guys are easy today.
Do you have a date, when you're gonna be presenting that to the board, Jeff?
Tentatively, we would like to be doing a work session or a briefing to the board probably in May, June, in that window.
Thank you so much.
Well, hearing nothing,
Hey, Jeff, real quick.
Sure.
Was there any talk about any different price structures? I know that the one was laid out there, but was there any thought of anything else or like option 2, or is this the only option and that this is the one we're going to run forward with?
There wasn't any other, wholesale, it's like substantive different structure proposed at this point in time. So this is correct. This will be the one that we're moving forward with now. It's based upon the recommendations and of our consultants, because they do this often. Both water rates, solid waste rates, etc. This is the one that made that they recommended as making the most sense and being the easiest to understand and interpret and move forward with. So any others before we move on to the next item? I know we have numerous presentations coming up. Anybody else? Otherwise, and if you don't feel like you think of it afterwards, don't forget we will talk about this again next month. And so if you're something comes to you after we're done here today. All right, I guess we're on to next item.
So you want to go to the roundtable discussion now? Or?
That's going to be the recycling and waste reduction program.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're looking at the minute.
I'm looking at the minutes. So sorry. Yeah, if you want to go to the recycling waste and reduction program, I apologize.
Let me pull that up. Does everyone see the recycling and waste reduction PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, we will give this to you guys. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, so we are giving the update about the recycling and waste reduction education outreach programs today. That is going to touch on our different programs, residential, multifamily, as well as education, youth, and also business and commercial. And then we have the MRCs also reporting out, and also the public health a little later in the meeting. So Rob's going to start with this.
Okay.
So we have a busy year ahead of us, and we had a really good last year. So really what we're doing is continuing a lot of the programs that we had last year. We had a community presentation series last year. We are continuing with that again. We're making some changes to it though, based on feedback that we had from people who attended and people who did not attend. So we are, last year we hosted all of our presentations at the Civic Disposal LeMay. They were a great partner. We are again partnering with them, but we are branching out and taking it to other parts of the county to make it more accessible. We changed the time to the evening to make it more accessible. And we've narrowed it into 2 topics so that we're really giving people the opportunities to get the information that they're most interested in. So we're focusing on the recycling and waste systems and where materials go, the flow through the county and beyond, as well as can this be recycled, which is really a question and answer driven style of event where people can just ask, what do I do with different materials? Where does it go? We are continuing our mailers that are included in the waste hauler bill. So our billing inserts through LeMay, they go out to customers every other month. So they get a handful of these a year. They go out to 36,000 plus households. And we are seeing a direct connection between these inserts and some of our other programs. So the Where Do I Take My online search tool, you can see it's skyrocketed, the use of it ever since we started sending out these inserts. So that's been a really big help. People are aware of our other tools and programs, and they are using them. In the photo on the lower right, you can see a scene from our Fix It Fair that we had in November of last year. And one of the participants there is actually holding the billing insert that they received, and it included information about the event. That's something that we've seen at a lot of our community presentations as well, is that people actually will show up with the newsletter that had information about the event. So we're seeing direct evidence that it's working. People are getting the information. We are scheduled to have our second annual compost giveaway event for May 3rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's at the Hawkesbury Park and Ride over by the Waste and Recovery Center. We're partnering again with Brady Trucking, who is donating the compost material. And we're expecting a lot more interest than we had last year, even though last year we went through all of the material very quickly, kept us busy even despite of the rain. Just checked this morning, we've had almost 1,100 people respond as interested on our social media account. And so we're expecting a lot, that's significantly higher than last year. So we're expecting a crowd. Multifamily contamination reduction. This is the third year that we'll be working on identifying solutions to contamination at these properties. We're still determining what exactly that's going to look like this year. What we discovered last year through our study was there's a lot of factors that are outside of our direct control with education and outreach. So we'll be looking to partner much more closely with the waste haulers and the properties to work on issues related to site maintenance, equipment, and hauling services. We are scheduled to have our second community repair event called the Fix It Fair. Right now it's scheduled for Wednesday, April 16th at the Lacey Makerspace, which is on the campus of St. Martin's University. It is scheduled from 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Got most of my volunteers from last time returning, so it's really looking promising. I think we'll have a good event. We are asking for people to pre-register the materials that they bring. So this is the kind of event where people can bring clothing, household items, all sorts of things that can't typically be recycled. We're trying to extend the life of them and keep them out of the landfill by repairing them. So people can bring things. We're asking them to register online at thurstonsolidwaste.org/fixit. And if there are other folks who would like to volunteer, we could definitely use a bank of folks who are interested in case anything happens. And we have some last minute changes, so they can express interest in volunteering online as well. Bicycle donation station at the Waste and Recovery Center is a project we've been working on. We're planning to have a one-year pilot program in partnership with Intercity Transit's Walk and Roll program, where we would provide space for residents to donate unwanted bicycles that are adult-sized, and Intercity Transit would then take those bicycles back to their shop. They would refurbish them and distribute them to people so that they have a means of transportation. And we would be helping keep this material out of the landfill and out of the scrap yards, because reuse is a better use than recycling. So that is something that we are getting closer to. We're still anticipating that happening hopefully by this summer. And then just a couple other things that will be continuing. Our Talking Trash video series is expected to return this spring. We're looking at sometime in April for that. Weekly or every other week content, probably less frequent in the beginning as we get started, and then we'll be turning out material more frequently later on this year. And then later in around the Christmas season, we'll be continuing the Christmas tree recycling program at our solid waste facilities and promoting Christmas tree recycling opportunities throughout the county.
Great, thanks, Rob. And so while all of you probably know that the residential program has been going strong for a while because of Rob's great expertise, the commercial and in-house government programs and the youth program has been building steam. We had it paused for many years, and now that we have April, Maggie, and Hope on board, they came on last year. We've been picking up a lot of momentum in those areas. So I'm going to be presenting some information about those programs. Next slide. So first, on the side of commercial and in-house government, we are working to promote waste and recycling reduction outreach to retail businesses and food establishments. We had a really wonderful opportunity around December to send out a mailer in partnership with our public health side. So they had already been planning to send out some mailers, and so we teamed up with them and added some information about the organics management law that is rolling out in a tiered system, and also offering technical assistance with that. So those businesses that received that letter have our contact information, some general information so that they can reach out to us if they want to know more. We're also expanding our online resource tools and working with local haulers and composting facilities. Next slide. One part of that is improving our webpage for businesses. So we want to make that page as user-friendly as possible and have plenty of resources so people have a place to start and know where to find our support if they're looking to contact us and learn more about ways they can reduce waste for their business. And business waste assessments is one option. So if a business reaches out to us, we can send Maggie, who is our expert in this area, to go meet with them and look at what their current system looks like and offer some suggestions to improve waste reduction. And then also give presentations and event support. And lastly, we are working on a in-house government, that means in Thurston County facilities, waste audit. What that means is collecting baseline data about the waste that our buildings are producing, and finding ways we can right-size our waste service. So right now, we don't have a lot of information about what kinds of garbage Thurston County staff are throwing away and what could have been recycled or composted, and what kinds of contamination is landing in the recycling and organics that should have gone to trash. So much like our waste characterization study that we did a couple of years ago, we're going to do a similar study, but it will only be for Thurston County buildings, because we want to be an example to the community and make sure that we're recycling right as staff. The community can look to us to be an example. And for schools and youth, I'm going to touch on that as well. Next slide. Our big event coming up is an Earth Day celebration that is planned for Saturday, April 19th from 1 to 4 p.m. at Woodland Creek Community Park in Lacey. This will be a waste reduction focused event, and it will also be a very family friendly event. And the partners we have lined up thus far is LeMay will be hosting a touch a truck, so families can come out, see a recycling truck up close. I believe they can even honk the horn. So if you know a kid or an adult that would like to see a truck come out, take a look. We're also going to have intercity transit there for Touch a Bus, Timberland Library, signing people up for library cards. Thurston County Public Health, creating non-toxic household cleaners, and noxious weeds will be doing wildflower planting that people can take home using compost, as well as spreading information about noxious weed disposal, and more partners still getting lined up. Next slide. And in schools, we are focusing on creating a 4th and 5th grade curriculum, youth curriculum that will have a 3-lesson series focused on waste reduction. Those lessons will be aligned with the next generation science standards, as well as Washington's environmental and sustainability literacy plan, so that teachers can know that the information that we're providing to their classrooms is useful and fits within the markers they have to meet for their standards and curriculum. And during the last lesson, kids will get their own utensil set. So what we do know is most of the schools in our Thurston County use plastic utensils in the cafeteria. And so 4th and 5th grade classrooms that go through this lesson series will receive their own reusable utensils in a wrappable kit, so that they can choose to use those instead of the plastic utensils. All right, next slide. And then we also have our Trash Talk newsletter. So that went out to, I believe 5,000 copies were distributed to 160 classrooms last fall. And this spring, we are getting ready to distribute more in April. And then we also have program support. And so these are areas where they don't fall squarely into one of the other program areas, sort of catch all. And so our lovely Hope is often at events. You'll see her tabling at events. We have our event schedule for tabling planned out. With about 10 events scheduled for 2025, and our event season is just getting started. It will be ramping up here in the next month or so. We often work closely with MRC, or Master Recycler Composter volunteers, to get help in those tabling events. We offer reusable straw kits and a trivia wheel so that we can engage the folks that are walking by, and also child-friendly craft opportunities. Another area that we do to support our programs is social media. We are very active, particularly on Facebook. If you're not on if you have a Facebook account and you're not following our page, please do. We post about all of our events coming up, as well as information about how to reduce waste for all kinds of things. You know, if the holiday is coming up or something, we'll do a post about ways to reduce waste for holidays or events. And then we also post important updates about operations. So if the compactor goes down, we will post that to Facebook. And it's also a really great opportunity to work with our partners.
Isn't Facebook like the 40+? We gotta get like TikTok and Instagram or something,
Yeah.
right?
And we just filled, Chad was just saying that we should get TikTok and Instagram, and that is something we're considering. So we just filled our communication specialist role, and he's still really new, but
Yeah.
once he gets his ground under his feet, we're gonna talk to him about it. Next slide, yeah. And then last but not least, we also have our Clearstream Borrow Bin program. So we do have these bins that can be borrowed for events in the community. Any resident in the community can come to us and borrow these bins free of cost. They're just responsible for disposing of the waste at the end. So they fold down pretty small and flat. They're pretty sturdy, and we offer them for recycling and garbage. We have, it looks like 70 recycling bins loaned out and 48 garbage bins loaned out in 2024. And we're hoping to increase that by spreading more information in the community about this resource. And with that, I'll pass it off to Corey and Jenny and Master Recycler Composter program.
Thank you, Amanda. Next slide. So the Master Recycler Composter Volunteer is a volunteer program where we last year we had 54 Master Recycler Composter volunteers that gave 1,877 hours of service. That's one half of our job. The other part of our job is the Master Gardener program, which is through WSU Extension here out at the fairgrounds. And we had 170 Master Gardener volunteers, and they gave 14,000 hours of service. So all told, 224 volunteers gave just over 15,000 hours of service. We also had 2 training classes this past year, and we trained 8 new graduates in the MRC program and 22 new Master Gardener volunteers. And all of the volunteers go out and help support the missions of both of those programs. For today, we're focusing in on the MRC program, and so we support, as Amanda had showed in through the previous slides, how we support solid waste educators in spreading the information and message throughout the county. So basically, the Master Recycler Composter volunteers just continue that reach out and get farther out into the community with the messaging. Next slide. So last year we did have 322 in-person and online question and answer clinics. The question and answer clinics are in the form where the general public can either email us a question into our inbox, or we meet them out at outreach events. And from those 322 events that we did, 21,000 inquiries were tracked. And so those are all kinds of questions from, again, the basic stuff is how to recycle, or why isn't this recycled, or where can I recycle it? And so we direct them a lot by either answering the questions directly or going and introducing them to where do I take my database. We also operate 3 demonstration gardens throughout the county, and each of these gardens are public spaces for them to learn about best practices. And so we have our hands-on composting workshops hosted at each of these gardens. We had 339 work parties or service parties in order to maintain these spaces, and put on 22 public workshops. Internally, there is care and feeding of the volunteers. And so each month we have an in-person hybrid meeting where they could either join us online or in person, where we have continuing education opportunities for them to continue to learn more about things. And so those cafes meet once a month, and then we also have additional continuing education opportunities throughout the year. Next slide. I'm going to turn it over to Jenny Post, who is our program assistant for these next 2 slides.
Hello. One of our accomplishments in 2024 was our Children's Garden program. This program is for kids aged 4 through 12, and they participated in composting and waste reduction lessons led by Master Recycler Composter volunteers. The kids, with the help of their caregivers and program volunteers, also harvested produce that is grown in the demonstration garden for the Thurston County Food Bank. And to kind of keep it full circle, the vegetable beds are nourished with compost produced in the composting areas. And these composting areas are managed by our wonderful Master Recycler Composter volunteers. Next slide, please. And every fall, we recognize the substantial efforts of our Master Recycler Composter and WSU Master Gardener volunteers at our annual awards event. We also acknowledge MRC volunteers that have earned their certification in the last year, and then MRCs that have also been volunteering with our program for 5, 10, 15, 20 or more years. In 2024, Ralph Gross was awarded Master Recycler Composter of the Year. Ralph serves the community at our outreach booths, in the demonstration gardens, and as an MRC training mentor. Next slide, please, and I'll hand it back over to Corey.
Okay, so our last slide is about what our goals are for 2025. I would say the big thing that is happening is that we're restructuring our volunteer trainings. And so currently right now there is a public survey that is available on our web pages, but also on our social media pages, for us to survey what training formats would work best for folks. So as we're planning our next training, we're going to determine the time of day, also how long of the training, as far as how many dates people would be interested to participate in, and this will help us shape our new training format. Typically, in the past, we've always trained in the fall, September through November, on Thursday nights and on Saturday mornings. So we'll see if this survey will change whether or not that will be our new training format for this upcoming year in 2025. We'll still continue to coordinate our 200 plus volunteers with all throughout the different community program activities and service projects that they're involved with. Again, our demonstration gardens do require a significant amount of volunteer efforts to maintain these public spaces as demonstration and learning opportunities. So a lot of our outreach activities will be at community events and also at the demo gardens, and also managing our online e-inbox of the general public just emailing us questions that they have about waste reduction. We also attend our community events, host community workshops each month. This month, in fact, next Tuesday is our first public composting workshop. We offer composting workshops on a monthly basis, and we'll also operate 75 plus Q&A clinics throughout the county. And then, as I said, we've already managed that we're still continuing to manage our demonstration gardens and continue with waste reduction outreach efforts as it relates to solid waste educators. And I think that's it.
Were there any questions about, so that was all sort of the public work side. Before we go into public health side, I want to take a break for any questions.
I'd just like a comment if I could. This is Joan Cathy from Tumwater. This excites me so much to hear this, because I've been around a few years here, and we've had times where we have talked about outreach and all of that kind of thing. And this is to me, this is amazing. The job you're doing, the coordination, and the things that have been added to this and so forth. I just want to compliment every single one of you on who are involved in these programs. And I've gotten feedback from some of the members of in Tumwater whose kids are involved in things, and they say, wow, when did all this start? When did this happen? And so people have really noticed and are thankful for all of the work you're doing and the opportunities. Did I have it right that you joined with the bicycle program just recently, or have you always been involved with the rock and roll walking?
We were approached, gosh, maybe a year and a half ago by Walk and Roll. So we have not always been working with them, but we are excited to support them in what they're doing by providing space that they don't currently have.
That's wonderful. I was one of the people who were in on the beginning of that, and we did the walk and roll at Peter G. Schmidt in Tumwater. And I just want to tell you a quick thing, just to let you know what impact programs like you're doing do in the community. When it started, there were kids riding their bikes, and of course they ride slowly along with, to begin with, they did with some of the other kids, and not everyone was a great bicycle rider, but they wanted to ride their bikes too. And there was this little guy who would come each time, and he did not have a bike, but he wanted to be part of it because he wished he had a bike, and he would jog along with the bikers. And those that were the sponsors from Inner City Transit and so forth were like, can you find out, is he doing this because this is the way he wants to do it, or what's the deal? Well, he didn't have a bike, and this program gave him a bike. And I remember the day that he got to ride his bike along with the group, and you would have thought he had a brand new special sports car or something. It just changed things for him. And the teacher said it changed things for him in the classroom. He was now a bike rider, and he was with the group. And it just made a difference. And then he went on to high school, and he ended up being one of the kids who helped in the first part of the repair program. And he would come and volunteer. So it was a lifelong change moment for him. And he immediately wanted to start giving back. So those are the kinds of people that you don't get a chance to know you're touching with these programs. And I just wanted to give you a thank you and encouraging speech. And just thank you for all the work you're doing, because those of us that are out there in the community, and people let us know. So I'm passing it on. Thanks again so much.
Fair enough.
Did we want to move on to public health?
Would you like me to share my screen? Oops. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you. I'm Jennifer Johnson. I work with Thurston County Public Health and Social Services. I work in the Environmental Health Division, and I'm going to give our quick update this morning just to remind you of who we are and what we do and why we do it. We are part of implementation for the household and public education part of the Thurston County Hazardous Waste Management Plan. Our goal is to protect public health, our drinking water and our surface waters. And we do that by providing education and outreach on the safe use, storage, and finally the disposal of hazardous materials that are commonly used in households. We have our main programs as our Healthy Home and Yard program that includes presentations, workshop opportunities, and outreach tabling events. And then we're really excited this year. We have back in action our Beyond Bleach childcare trainings. This is a way for our education professionals to go into childcare centers, preschools, in-home childcare, anywhere, all the places where kids are gathered, to provide education to the staff about how common toxins can impact children's health. And we specifically look at safe disinfection. We work with the Department of Childhood and Early Learning to ensure that we're, helping maintain all of the requirements. And part of that is we can offer continuing education credits for free to the staff that are able to attend those. So we've done one so far this year, and we've got another one on the books, and just really excited. It's our new staff, our new education professional, Jessica Goulet, who's offering this program. And we haven't been able to do it for the last several years because we were understaffed, and really excited to get this information out to our most vulnerable population of kids. We do lots of fairs and events. We do coordinate quite a bit with solid waste educators, also our community planning and economic development team, the education behind that group. We work with them a lot. And then we do some point of purchase outreach. So I'm not going to touch on many of these too in depth because I feel like we were just here talking to SWAC a few months ago and we talked about each of these, but of course, happy to answer any questions. I'm going to get us right into our workshop menu. I know this is a ton of text on screen, so I'm not expecting anyone to read this. We're in the process of updating our website. And so we really put together the menu of workshops that we offer to the community. And, happy to send this to you directly with a link because this is a lot to read, but this just kind of gives you a sense of the many ways that we discuss those primary objectives as far as the reduction of hazardous materials and then the safe storage and then safe disposal. So really pleased to provide these to our community. As I stated, we do a lot of tabling events and workshops. Here's a clickable link. I think you all have this in your packet, but this just gives you a sense of the many locations. We work hard to go throughout the county. We talk to folks in Yelm and Tenino and Summit Lake and Evergreen. So we try to really spread out. We're just a small but mighty team of 3. And we tried to be really strategic about working throughout the community. And part of that is, as I said, partnering with our solid waste educators. Just to get a sense of what we were able to offer last year, we hosted 23 of those healthy home and yard workshops. We attended 12 different events and reached over 1,000 people through our presentations and our tabling events. When I talk about the pledges that are signed, we have this pledge up here, and this is a well-regarded social marketing tool where we are encouraging folks to make a public commitment to reducing their hazardous products inside the home. Also, they are committing to safe storage, and they're committing to safe disposal. And then what we can provide to them is, if it's a healthy yard care workshop, we provide this pesticide-free zone sign. And if it's a healthy homes workshop, we provide the safer cleaning kit. So those are photographed here. So we were able to distribute over 200 of the safer cleaning kits. This is through our workshops, also through a really fantastic partnership we have with the Family Support Center. So we are trying to ensure that when folks move out of houselessness into housing, that right away they have the safer cleaning kits that they need to care for their homes. We also provide healthy homes workshops to our partners at Community Youth Services. Again, our real focus, because there's just the 3 of us, we try really hard to work with our most vulnerable populations. So that's, of course, youth, and also folks that are, perhaps caring for a home for the very first time. And so really trying to provide the information to them on reduction of hazardous materials, the safe storage if they have them, and then taking them. Where do they take them? So I spoke briefly about our point of purchase program. This is the fantastic partnership we have with retailers all throughout Thurston County, where we have a rack of materials right at the point of purchase. And in other words, everywhere that the public can purchase pesticides, we try to have information about how to reduce your use of pesticides. What are the safer practices? And I think many of you are familiar with these racks. We have them all over the county, and we do provide information for solid waste in these racks also. This is just a sense of some of the many partners that we work with. This is another way that we leverage the power of the 3 of us and really do great work throughout Thurston County through our partnerships. I did want to just highlight, so excited to be working with solid waste on, we have a newsletter that goes out to about 1,000 subscribers every other month, and we cover all of the topics that I've been talking about, healthy yards, healthy homes, and really excited to have a whole column now dedicated to waste reduction specifically. And so solid waste provides us with the article, and we add it to our newsletter. And this is, we have a newsletter coming out this week, actually. It is already scheduled to go out tomorrow, and that will have the second solid waste article. And this newsletter is all about recycling and composting specifically. And so Corey and Jenny both provided us with great feedback for our composting articles. So this is, through the newsletter, we're able to really align our messages and make sure that and make sure that when we're speaking about somebody else's expertise, in this case, compost, that we're really working together to ensure that the right messages are there, that we're all using the same language, and that we're really working together. Any questions for me? I'm going to turn it over to Kim. Yeah, Joan. Oh, you're muted.
That's unusual for me. I just wondered, you said that you give the people who come to the, was it Healthy Yards, Healthy Homes section, do you give them cleaning supplies and so forth? Did I miss?
Yeah, we did. We do, and I'm sorry I didn't specify that. So what's in those healthy cleaning kits, as we call them, is we have a recipe card that talks about how to, make those easy, inexpensive cleaners using baking soda, vinegar, castile soap. So we provide all of those items in our safer cleaning kits. We have a little scrub brush in there. We have a squeegee to help reduce moisture. We know that something that folks in our community deal with a lot is mold. And so a lot of the Healthy Homes presentations are really about how to prevent mold, how to ventilate properly, and also how to clean mold if you do have it. And so that makes up our safer cleaning kits.
So would you say that you're giving these out mostly to low income people, the ones that respond to that kind of what you're doing, or
well, it's available to everyone in the community. We'll provide these workshops anywhere any place that'll have us. We do partner with homeowners associations a lot of times, but we're really trying to target our outreach to those lower income folks. And so that's such as the Family Support Center. We have a great partnership with them. So when people get into housing with the services from Family Support Center, they're provided with a safer cleaning kit. And we also have done presentations at the Landing, which is that new spot over in West Olympia with the, that's part of the getting folks off the street and into housing. And then the community youth services. So we're really focusing our outreach on those lower income populations, but we also field requests from the general public. We're going to be at the Lot Wet Science Center next month, where we will provide the Healthy Homes workshop and provide those safer cleaning kits to anybody that wants one.
That's great. I asked that question after years of working at the YWCA and the other bank, and the number of people we served every week for cleaning supplies and health and hygiene things. And I'm happy to see this program because they don't do it there anymore. And so do you then refer people to the food bank to get other things for cleaning products, or just because the whole idea of being clean in your home, and especially if you haven't had one for a while or you having trouble house cleaning, as some people do,
sure,
this is really a health issue.
Absolutely.
I'm really thankful for what you're doing. Do you get donations for this program to make up your sacks or bags?
We don't know. It's part of our cost of the workshops. So each of the safer cleaning kits is worth about $40 ish. I'm looking at Kylie's right next to me, and she's the one that does all the purchasing. So yeah, we just provide those as part of our operating costs.
Wow. Well, keep up the good work, because this is an area I feel like right now is kind of got some blanks in it. So you're filling a really important piece. So
Yeah, Thank you. Thanks, Joan. I do find that, I think for so many of us, and I'm still fall into this sometimes, that I think, well, if you can buy it at a store, it must be safe. And of course, we know that that's just not the case. So a big part of our Healthy Homes workshops is teaching folks how to read a label, how to choose the safest product. And then, these products that we're offering, baking soda, vinegar, they're really inexpensive.
Oh.
And so for folks to then see like, oh, I can get this stuff for actually much less expensive than I can buy any kind of cleaning products. The biggest cost of those kits is the Castile soap. But the great thing about that is it's extremely concentrated, and it is you can use it to wash your skin or your hair, or it's really multi-purpose. So I would say when we're working with particularly those populations that are just coming out of homelessness, yeah, we're actually really talking about just that topic that you mentioned, Joan, as far as, so how often do you actually have to clean the kitchen, and how often do you have to clean the bathroom, and what are the expectations for maintaining a safe and healthy home? And I think those of us that haven't struggled with homelessness kind of don't necessarily understand that it's not just common sense if you haven't lived in a home for a long time, or if you have generational homelessness. Actually saying vacuuming once a week is really important. Here's, you got to empty the vacuum bag, and we kind of provide some of those tips with our Healthy Homes workshops.
That's good, because that's going to increase as low income people are squeezed even more to make decisions about food for themselves or their children, and cleaning products. And just to give you a little tip anyway, from when I was working with these folks every week or every day, some of these mothers who want to really do right by their kids and get out of homelessness or just clean the home, they're happy to have a roof over their head or so forth. They don't read well. There's a lack of adult women being able to read that are low income. So just a little tip, if someone says maybe they might be asking you in some way, what does the bottle look like, kind of thing. And
that's a great point, Joan. Yeah. And we actually, with our workshops, we often will bring actual bottles, empty bottles of cleaning products, specifically, also like automotive and even personal care products, just to show folks what words you're specifically looking for, because again, we know how that marketing works. And really, when you're looking at choosing the safest product, you're looking at a very specific signal word on the front of the packaging. And so we talk about how to choose the safer product, and even how to look for there's those third party, like EPA has a program, safe design, and so trying to help folks look for the symbols that they're actually looking for. And we do the same when we're talking about pesticides, is that, in general, we want to prevent the use of pesticides. And if you're going to choose a product, here's how to choose the safest product.
Wonderful. You're doing, that warms my heart today to know that still some of that happening out there. That's great. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Once again.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Joan. Any other questions for us?
Jennifer, I just had a quick question. Do you have any, are you guys partnering with any municipalities, and do you have any joint work that you're doing collaboratively?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the municipalities that we're currently partnering with, we do work with the City of Olympia. They have their, I'm going to get the name wrong, but they have a like a tenant outreach program that they're working on. And so we are working with them because we get a lot of complaints at Environmental Health from tenants specifically. So City of Olympia is kind of upping their inspection and such, but we don't have other municipalities specifically that we're working with. I mean, we partner with the cities by attending their workshops or their events or we help support their outreach, but we're not specifically working with the cities. Do you have ideas, or is there something specific that you're thinking about? Chad, did you have a specific idea?
No, I'm so sorry, I didn't, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, like I said, we're happy to kind of go anywhere and talk to anyone. That's, but so yeah, happy to hear
All right.
ideas.
Yeah, I know that the municipalities are working hard too, but sometimes they have funding issues, and if we can bridge that gap at the county level and be able to create opportunities for them to partner, I think that would be a phenomenal idea, so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would say the way that we partner with municipalities currently most directly is through the community planning economic development group through their reef partnership, where it's the stream teams throughout the county. So all of the three major cities each have a stream team program, and then Thurston County is part of coordination for all of those. And we do work with our stream team partners quite a bit on stormwater reduction. But like I said, happy to hear any ideas always. And we do, I would say the other way that we work with municipalities is we are part of that Thurston Eco Network. I'm going to just back up. So the Eco Network, the Thurston Eco Network, this is a consortium of education professionals throughout Thurston County, and the cities are all represented, as is solid waste educators and the CPED educators all attend. So we meet monthly, and it's a way to share ideas. It's a way to make sure that our messages are all aligned. As I said, it's education professionals and environmental education professionals throughout the county. So, we work with the conservation district, we work with Wolf Haven, kind of a lot of our education professionals have a seat at that table, and of course, it's always open, but that's another way that we partner with municipalities. Okay, do you want me to just keep sharing my screen, Kim?
Would love that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, of course. You just tell me when to switch slides.
All right, sounds good. All right, so solid and hazardous waste. The main tasks our program has are permitting for solid and moderate waste or moderate risk waste facilities, and ensuring that they are operating within the scope of their permit, that none of their operations have changed from one year to the next or anything. Right now we have 18 facilities that we inspect. One of those is Silver Springs Organics. Additionally, we also, I don't have noted here, but we also permit the mineral extraction facilities in the county, and we inspect those as well. Our focus on those inspections is for impacts to human health and the environment, and we currently have 28 of those. Solid waste enforcement, that's really the meat of our, oh wait, not yet. It's the meat of our program, but I won't go into depth on that yet. I have a few more slides to talk about that. The business pollution prevention, that's the pollution prevention technical assistance program. So we work with local businesses that are small quantity generators of hazardous waste, and we help them to utilize best management practices in waste handling and reduction. And that in turn also supports the moderate risk waste sustainability, along with programs like our used oil collection network. And then another one is our integrated pest management program. And that allows us, the Environmental Health Division, and our citizens a say in what pesticides are used by the county and on county managed properties. Environmental Health reviews and categorizes pesticides into low or high risk, and then we use those risk ratings to guide our decisions on how to recommend pesticides that will have the least negative impacts to the community as a whole. Okay, next slide. So for solid waste enforcement, just as a reminder, these are based on complaints. We do not seek out cases. We have plenty of those. Those are referred either by the public or by other regulatory agencies. We don't typically assist anyway with the cleanup. There are some, a few exceptions to that. We're mostly there for guidance and coaching to the occupants. Over the last couple of years, our numbers have been pretty static. Looks like from 2023, our complaints did go down a little bit, which allowed us a little more, freedom to go back for re-inspections at properties and make sure everything is staying clean or getting clean. I don't know, but overall, we've removed pretty close to the same amount of waste year over year. So, good, bad, either or. Next slide, please. So one of those exceptions this last year was an abatement project we did for solid waste on a private property. That took us between July and September to complete that abatement. We removed about 77,000 pounds of solid waste. Most of that was household waste that had just been discarded on the property. So, it wasn't a whole bunch of really heavy items or anything. There's just a lot of waste there. We encountered multiple obstacles with this. We've learned a lot of lessons. Go ahead and go to the next slide and we can look at some before and afters and we'll talk about some of those obstacles. So there's one side of it. Well, I couldn't get everything in here. It would be way too many slides. So there's one before, next slide. There's an after of that same area. And next slide. That's somewhat of a before of the front. Like I said, really hard to capture. There's also a lot of RVs on site, people living on site in RVs. So I don't know, a lot of waste to be had. And there's an after. So lessons learned then on that one. One thing we realized is all the occupants, they have to be off-site. You really can't go into this judging how a person is going to react to having their possessions thrown away until it's actually happening. It's traumatic. It's traumatic for the people who live there. It's traumatic for the people trying to help with the cleanup. When you have someone yelling at you, don't throw that away. That's not junk when it's clearly garbage. So this project had originally started in July, but we kept getting that resistance from the homeowner and other occupants on site that, you can't take that. You can't take that. Getting in the way of the machinery. It was very dangerous for everyone involved. So by the time we worked everything out with them and they promised, yes, we'll be away for the day. That took us through September. So every day we had to wake everyone up, get them all off site. And that took 1 to 2 hours every day. It was a much longer process than we were anticipating. Much bigger emotional toll than we thought too. Another lesson learned is going into this. Make sure you have everything coordinated with all your different agencies, any other compliance cases that are going on. Because as you can imagine, in cases like these, like I said, there's RV living as well. There's a lot of overlap in departments. So there's a whole lot going on here that still needs to be worked out. And this would have been better handled if we had done that from the get-go with the court order, including all of the violations in one. And then a third one that we're realizing is we really don't have any resources out there for trash services for those that are impoverished. When you don't have water, electricity, things of that nature, a warm environment to sleep in, trash management is the least of your concerns. So things spiral out of control really quickly from there. So that, I don't know. You've got to help the people first and then deal with the issues on the property. You can't expect them to change their habits, if their personal situation hasn't improved. So I don't know. It was, like I said, it was a lot happening, a lot that needed to happen. And I don't know, we'll hope for better things in future instances like this, but work in progress, we're learning. Okay, next slide. And then last is our used oil collection. There was a little bit of a decrease by about 5,000 gallons from last year to this year. You can't really say why that happens or not. Also, the Tenino location is now under different ownership, and I don't know that they want to continue having this used oil collection container on site. They don't want to have any responsibility for the oversight of it. We don't ask a lot of those who do have these on their site, just that they kind of keep an eye out and make sure nothing crazy is happening. Nobody's, obviously dumping a bunch of stuff in that's not supposed to be there, which I don't know. I don't know what they could do, but yeah, to be determined on whether that one's going to stay there or not. We're hoping to keep it in the Tenino area because there's really not much around that area otherwise. Right. And then last slide is just our contact information. There's our wonderful team. They are great people. I love working with them. They do such a great job out there. Any questions?
I have one question, just because it's something that I've dealt with before on the cleanups and things like that. The county used to have I guess like a dedicated trooper or kind of like a dedicated code enforcement person that would handle like JVAs, which if you're not familiar with what a JVA is, like junk vehicle affidavits on derelict properties.
Yes, we do those
And
as well.
and it seems like we've lost that person within the county. And so people have a hard time getting rid of those derelict vehicles that, you know, seeping oil into the ground and everything else. Like, is that something that we're addressing within, or that we have available as a resource?
Yes, if you, Alex Palmer on the slide there, that's your guy. He talked with them and he is the main point of contact for that at this time. And then later this month, both myself and Andrew are also going to go to the class for junk vehicle affidavit training. So our entire team will be trained at that point. But Alex is the guy who said that, hey, I want to take this on.
Right, because I think it'll help beautify the county, and it's been kind of like lacking the last couple of years from what I understand, so. Yeah, and then in regards to the oil, that's a pretty significant cost to the county to recycle that amount of oil. I feel like oil costs have risen to quite a bit to recycle. Is that an accurate statement, or?
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I'd have to look into that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions? All right, we'll go on to the litter update.
Later.
Okay. So I'm gonna just give you a quick update about our litter program. And we can go to the next slide. Our litter program is staffed by 2 people that are out on the roads daily, looking for litter in the usual areas. Or supervising inmate crews or court deferrals that are picking up litter. So we have at least 2 people out every day, Monday through Friday, working on litter. And to be more specific, the litter that we're after is on county right of ways or in the public areas. So we wouldn't be looking at private. So like the pictures you saw from the last presentation, that was a privately owned land. So we're focused on those publicly owned spaces outside of city limits. And so you can see the kinds of problems we're seeing. There are illegal dump sites. People abandon large pieces of equipment, including whole vehicles, boats, and RVs. Appliances is a big one, as well as demolition or construction debris. And our crew goes around and picks that stuff up every day and takes it to where it needs to go. Tires get recycled. Appliances go to white goods at the wharf, so they can be, the metal is salvaged for recycling. And this is just a quick overview of our litter removal. So you can see the difference between different months. This past year in 2024, we got over 250,000 pounds of litter off the road. And we do a lot of this work with grant funding through the Department of Ecology. The grant cycle is a 2-year cycle, so we are near the end of our 23-25 cycle. It ends in the end of June. We received $152,000 from Ecology, and last summer we were awarded an additional $17,000, and we just got word last week that we will be getting another $28,000. So by the end of this cycle, we'll have gotten $197,000 to put toward our litter program. We also have another litter grant from the Department of Ecology called the Ramp Litter Cleanup Program. And that is specifically for ramps and exchanges on the highways. And that is a smaller grant, so that is a $16,000 grant. And so we will organize ramp cleanup days, and that will get billed to this other grant for ramp work. We rely heavily on our partners. This work wouldn't be possible with all that we get from our partners. These are our key partners. We have inmate crews from the Department of Corrections. They send us crews to go out and pick up litter, and our workers will supervise those crews and make sure that they're safe. The crews also come with their own officer from the corrections facility. So everyone is safe and following the rules and able to do work. We also partner with Washington State Department of Transportation, particularly for the ramp cleanups. So when we have a ramp day, you can imagine those areas around ramps can have heavy traffic. And so they help us out with traffic management. The Department of Ecology funds quite a bit of our work, and they also have the a youth cleanup program that does a couple of areas in our county. And also our own Thurston County Courts has helped us out a lot. So they send us drug court deferrals from the Superior Court. Those are folks that are doing mandated community service, and they must be supervised. So our litter program is a great opportunity for them to come out and do their community service hours while being supervised. We are also in the process of setting up the same sort of partnership with Thurston County District Court for the Mental Health and Veterans Court. And so they will start sending us volunteers as well. Aside from our supervised volunteers, we also have community volunteers, and those volunteers do work on their own schedule. We supply them with safety equipment, that's like safety vests, signage for roadways, and then also first aid kits. We supply them with all the bags they need to do the work. So they go out and fill up the bags and then give us a call, and then we pick them up and dispose of those bags. And then that way they don't have to pay for that disposal. And so to do that program, all a person has to do is give us a call, and we'll get them set up with what they need. And when they're done picking up the litter, they can just tell us where they've stashed the bags. If you've ever seen those piles of bags on the side of the road, the orange ones are ours, the white ones are Ecology's programs. And same situation, they'll come out and pick them up. Our program picks up the orange ones, and we take them over to the Waste and Recovery Center to be disposed. New this year is our webpage. So we didn't have a webpage before about community volunteer options, and now we do. So if someone is interested in partnering with us to volunteer, whether that's a single person or a neighborhood association or a business, they can contact us, find us online here and contact us to get tools, ask questions, and get the liability waiver with all of that information. And coming in 2025, as I mentioned earlier, we are working on a partnership with the Veterans and Mental Health Court with that's through Thurston County District Court. And we are also working on an adoptive road and adoptive spot sign, or excuse me, program. So keep an eye out for that. That'll have those road signs. And then we're just looking to always continue increasing community engagement and ramping up our volunteer engagement for this program to help keep litter off the streets.
Any questions?
With that, we'll go to the manager's
No,
update.
Actually,
Or
ask
the
a quick
applicant.
question.
Yeah, question?
I was curious how the Adopt a Road program works. Like, can individuals adopt a road, or does it have to be a business? Because I'm curious in doing that where I live.
Yeah, so when we have the program set up, it's not rolled out yet. But yes, it can be a family, a single person, a neighborhood group. It doesn't have to be a business.
Cool, thank you.
Commissioner Klaus?
Thank you. I was wondering, as far as the funding for the litter cleanup programs through the Department of Commerce, do we know if those funds are state funds or are they passed through from the federal government?
Our funds come from the Department of Ecology, and I'm not sure what the source of those funds are. Oh, I think they're from the litter tax, the state litter tax.
Okay.
Jeff?
That is correct. Yeah, so they are state funds, and yeah, they're not federal.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you.
Anybody else?
The next we'll give the next 10 minutes to Matt. I think he has to do our capital projects update.
See if I can do it at 5. How's that?
Perfect.
There we go.
Okay. So high level, this is the projects that we currently have slated right now. Get back there.
Yeah, thank you.
More slide down. So just an aggregation of the different projects that we have slated here. Some of them are underway already, some of them are not. The biggest one being the transfer station reconfiguration at the bottom, and we'll get down to that in the slide there. Next slide, please. And I'm going to spare you all the reading the text that's available in the packet. What's important to know here is compact replacement is set pretty solid for the middle of October, give or take a couple of weeks. We have a consultant on board to help us with that as well. So hopefully we make it through the summer, Jeff, without any major downtime to where we get that new compactor in and have a much higher level of reliability. Okay, I might mention just really quick on that, we are looking at the option of rebuilding the existing one. So we have some folks from the manufacturer coming to take a look at that in a couple weeks here. Just makes good business sense to at least weigh our options for down the road, whether that's spare or the new transfer station and whatnot. So security technology site improvements, this is in a nutshell, a brand new fire and security system and completely ripping out the last 3 systems or so that have been installed and not removed, now defunct. So we're gonna get it cleaned up. We're anticipating they'll be starting this at the end of this month, and it should be a couple of weeks for installation. But I know folks are pretty excited to have that done and quit hearing the alarms beeping all the time. Super important, I will add, it's not just a convenience, right? It's a safety thing, and it's super important to have a reliable system in place, particularly the panic buttons in the scale houses, et cetera. Okay, EV charging stations is a project that is was really coming out of the commissioner's office with Rebecca Harvey. I've been asked basically to take over the project management of the entire thing, right? So it's not just to work EV charging stations, but I'm also managing the 20 that are going down the Patterson lot at the atrium. We got some pretty serious time constraints on this one, so we're working really hard to try and get the consultant on board. We're just waiting for their statement of work and their fee schedule to try and get this thing pushed through, and hopefully their cost estimates come in within budget and we can move forward with it. So if so, we're hoping to get procurement in June and hopefully installation sometime in late summer, we're hoping. The biggest outlier there is going to be getting PSE to do their upgrades in a time frame that actually meshes with the deadline for the grant funding. Okay. This is just some basically refreshing paint and maybe some bathroom fixtures and ceiling tiles, things like that, flooring. particularly in the scale houses and the kiosks and then the transfer station itself. Things are getting pretty ratty there, so not super high priority, but definitely something that we want to get accomplished as soon as we can. And it will be a multi-year project, budget, depending on budget. Little at a time. Okay, transfer station facility, second location. We'll just say on this one, again, timing, costs, scope of work and schedule are all to be determined. We got a pretty massive project with the reconfiguration coming up that we got to get through. And then of course, money is always paramount in determining when we get to do things, right? On to the last one, the big one. What I'll say here is that we are just about done with a draft RFQ for a design build consultant. Somebody to help us through the process of applying for permission through the project review committee within the Department of Enterprise Services. It's a statutory requirement in order to do an alternative delivery method such as design build. Pretty excited about this one. We do believe it's going to result in the best value product at the end, and we're excited about its ability to help us maintain good and safe business continuity out at the site, which needs to be running basically, I think, what, 363 days a year. So really hoping to get the consultant on board by the end of June. Be great, and get that PRC application in. So I'm going to pause there. See if anybody has any questions. Excellent, just like I like it. Okay, thank you.
There we go. All right. Managers report from Jeff.
All right, we have 2 minutes and I have one item to bring up, so I'll keep it within time. Just because a lot of it has been spoken about already about a lot of our waste reduction, recycling, education items, as well as our capital projects. So we previously have had, many of you have probably seen it at the Waste and Recovery Center, as well as at our 2 Dropbox locations. We had a book bins where individuals could drop off books for reuse and recycling. Well, the company that previously had been doing it went out of business, and those bins have been gone for a few months now, a handful of months. So we are currently have a solicitation out on the street looking for companies, whether it's nonprofits or for-profit, I mean, potentially, that is able to provide this type of service. So it is open until the end of March. So if you know of any company, nonprofit, we've been trying to connect with libraries and others to see if they might be interested in providing bins and then providing collection services for books to be reused. I mean, I believe we had 3 or 4 of those bins at the work, and they would fill every week or two, and then the same thing out at the so we know there's a lot out there. So we're hoping that we can get into find somebody that's willing to do it and get into a contract to do that. So that's the only thing that I have to add to today. And with that, back to you, Chad. Unless anybody has any other questions. Okay.
Any questions for Jeff? No? Cool. Just given our time, I'm gonna go ahead and I mean, I'll do the roundtable discussion, but is there anything for the good of the order? No. Okay. Any other announcements or anything else? So I guess with that, we will go ahead and adjourn the meeting for today.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.